So I wanted to talk about what I see most guys getting totally wrong. And for me, it's this notion that you feel like you can't make time for exercise. Exercise, I feel like, is the simplest, low barrier to entry thing that people can do to really improve their health. I genuinely believe that most people can do it, can do some form of exercise. And by most people, I really mean most people. And regardless of your situation, I feel like you should be able to do some form of exercise. And by exercise, I don't mean CrossFit 5, 6 times a week or high intensity interval training, sprinting, jumping, crazy exercises that, like marathon training and, you know, crazy amounts of cycling, hundreds of miles. I'm not talking about things like that or even training martial arts like 2, 3 times a day. People don't realize that there are things that you can do that are under your control, even if you really, really don't feel like you have time. I really believe that you have time. And the best advice I can give is really just keeping it simple, making it easy, making it visible, decreasing the friction, and then maintaining some kind of consistency. So by keeping it simple, I mean that if you have time to go for a 10-minute walk or 15-minute walk after you eat, easy win. Easy win. That's exercise. Even if you don't feel like it, you can exercise traditionally, wake up early or during lunch, go to the gym nearby, or just do something at your desk. There are ways to make it simple, and you just need to figure out how that is and how that fits for you. Making it easy, you don't really have to stress so much about complexity of how the exercise is going to be in terms of the routine. You don't have to worry about trying to find the perfect routine because it doesn't really exist. You really just have to keep it relatively simple, keep it minimal, keep it easy. And that could be different for everybody. But really, it's doing some kind of movement. Like I said, walking, most of us can do that. If you can't do that, you can do some form of like band or resistance training. You can work with a physical therapist and try to get some movement back and some mobility, possibly, if you've had some issues with that. But when it comes to most people that can at least walk, do some type of body weight resistance training, where you can bring some resistance bands and do those. Something that keeps your muscles working. Anytime you have a break in between work or during lunch, before work, after work, something like that, something that makes it easier for you. Some people buy a treadmill, some people buy a elliptical or some type of bike or something like that, stationary bike at their house. Easily just do that and, 10, 15 minutes if you have time. Well, I should say you do have time. 10, 15 minutes, even 30 minutes. Most of us realistically have at least 20, 30 minutes to dedicate to some kind of physical activity. And if we don't feel like we have that time, you really have to get your priorities straight. One thing that's helped me is to get your Google Calendar out or some kind of Apple Calendar or something, even a physical calendar. Write out all your obligations, work, kids, family, any type of projects you already have going on, but really the things that you really need to do. Put that all on the calendar. I usually put mine on Google Calendar because it's just easy. And then you can see the blocks of time where you can fit in a little bit of exercise. And then throughout the day, if you have a job that allows you to get outside for a walk or go to the gym or something like that, take advantage of those moments. Or even if you have an office, you can do some jumping jacks, push-ups, body weight squats. There's resistance bands. There's a lot you can do, really. Bring it with you. Get things that you can easily be consistent with, and just do it. That's the that's the easiest way I can explain it. But it's also setting yourself up for success, making things that's part of making things simple, making things easy, making it visible. By making it visible, I mean, if you set your bag and your clothes the night before, if you plan on going for a workout in the morning, that is a big deal. And also, decreasing the friction too. So anything in your schedule that might hinder you from or prevent you from making sure that you make this a habit and actually accomplish the win of exercise every day. Identify what that is. The calendar exercise is really helpful because you can really, really see what your schedule looks like. A lot of us don't really know how to estimate how much we spend time on things. So just putting that all on the calendar helps a lot. It decreases the friction. If there's something that you notice that you want to adjust, whether it's your sleep, stress levels, the way you organize, coordinating with your family or your job, adjusting your hours, whatever you need to do, anything helps. And, you know, consistency is the second hardest thing. Number one is getting started. So I've talked about this a little bit as finding your why, finding your reason for getting up and exercising, finding your reason for making this a habit, and always directing yourself to how you can increase your chances of being successful in that. Exercise is one of the biggest wins that you can have because it's one of the things that if you were to do it and if you were to get into some kind of routine of being consistent with exercise, then it puts you into a situation where you can work on other things, thinking, how can I improve other parts of my life so that I can improve my effectiveness in the gym and exercise. So that's something for me, something that I've realized helped a lot was when I started training jujitsu in 2019, I realized that I was not fit. I wasn't able to do certain movements efficiently because I never really trained those types of movements. Like jujitsu is so dynamic. It's so much more than just a single joint exercise or, you really have to use your whole body. If you want to be great at it, good at it and prevent injury, you got to be strong. You have good tendons, ligaments. You have to have good body mechanics and how you flex your joints, flex your hips and your knees. And, body awareness matters too. And being strong, being flexible, being mobile, being able to keep up in terms of cardiovascular endurance. That's a big one. These are all things that I've learned when I started jiu-jitsu. And that's what I mean. You start either martial arts or you start lifting weights or you start some kind of sport. Even your job, if your job is labor intensive or you lift a lot, then you have to have good stamina and good endurance and you know how to breathe and stuff like that. All these things that will bring out something in you where you can think, how can you improve yourself and how can you direct or organize your exercise routine so that way it helps you with your sport or helps you with your job. These are things that I realized doing jiu-jitsu. And so the only thing that I had to worry about is showing up. That's the beauty of doing something like that is that you just show up and you follow along with the class, you're engaged and you learn from other people that are further along and you teach people. It's very good for the social aspect too. But it also, before I go exercise, as I'm thinking about it, before I go train, I'm thinking, how can I improve my movement and my strength and my mobility? How can I improve my cardiovascular endurance in order for me to be efficient and effective on the mats? And you can apply that to anything, right? So think about it like functional training, right? Functional training for life, So, you know, That's the best advice I can give you. Keep it simple, make it easy, make it visible, decrease friction, and then maintain some kind of consistency. 2 times a week. 2 times a week is a great start. If you can do 30 minutes 2 times a week, that's really good. And then incorporate some things on your day to day life, your job, and, after work and before work. Do whatever you can do in order for you to increase your output and, be consistent to some degree. And more than likely, you're going to have some kind of success. Of course, along with exercise and martial arts or something like that, or some kind of sport or your job, motivating you or giving you a direction in the gym as far as like how to work out to function at whatever it is you want to do. On top of that, it's going to, at least for me, it's through exercise and jujitsu and just wanting to be better with functioning my body and things like that, is I wanted to dial in my nutrition because I felt like my nutrition, I knew this, but nutrition really, really plays a role in how effective you are with your exercise. I knew when I had poor nutrition that day or before exercise, I was going to perform poorly. But when I dialed it in day to day and pre-workout or before training, I really saw a difference in my performance. And my sleep, everything improves. Basically diet, exercise really, I believe, can make a big difference in getting you to a place where you can be proud of yourself and be able to have those small wins and achieve your goals. And I think it's what most people get wrong. Most guys get wrong, you know. But, we have to start somewhere. We figure out what works for you. You figure out what works for you, and then you just go from there. Keep it simple, optimize your health, transform your life. Peace.